I have my policy envelope for this next section. I'm going to go ahead and cut 3.5 inches off of the bottom of this policy envelope. It's 9 inches, so I'm going to go 8, 7, 6, so that's going to be 5.5 inches. So I have these two pieces. I'm going to take an on the edge die and cut an edge on these two pieces just to make them a little bit more interesting. I have also made a 6x6 piece of, I guess you'd call it a small page layout. And I've cut the pink paper 6x6 and the brown paper 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I'll be back and we'll work with those next. I'm going to go ahead and stagger these. These are going to go on this last piece. I'm probably messing the camera up. These are going to go on this last flap. So I've already gone ahead with the adhesive for this. I want these to be staggered just a little bit like so. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and adhere my 6x6 there. And I can see that I'm going to need to adhere this a little bit further up. But I want this to go on both sides. So I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm just going to slit up the side, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So what I'm going to do is ink around the edges. I'm going to use just a little bit of wet glue on this. And I'm just going to put a little bit of wet glue around the edges of this, just so that I can get it to adhere really well. And go ahead and get down to that point. Alright, and I'm going to let these touch just for a second, so that the glue can get on both sides. This glue takes a little bit longer to adhere. And now I'm going to hope this thing really will cooperate with me. And there we go. I want to get this where it's looking nice and straight. Like that. Can't really see the top of it. I hope it's straight. And I'm just going to press this down real good so it will adhere to this flap real good. And there's the first flap. Okay, so that's going to open up just like so. Now we need to get to work on this second flap. The next thing that I need you to do is I need you to look in your ephemera pack. And I want you to find the piece that looks just like this. Then I also want you to look for this sheet that we kept out. I want you to cut this piece right here out. And then I want you to cut this piece and this piece out. And then I'll meet you back here. The next thing that I want to do is I want to cut out 2 hinges. So I'm going to make them 4 inches by 1 inch, and I'm going to score them right in the middle. Go ahead and set these aside. Next thing that I want to do That's not going to be big enough. I would like to make a fun little place for this to go. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere it onto my paper. I'm going to ink it. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down, and I'm going to leave a fairly large border on that. I've got not quite a ½ inch on that side. So that looks about right. I'm going to go ahead and ink up that piece. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna put this cute little border punch on the top of this. I'm gonna try to work in frame, but it's hard for me to be able to see that far away. And go ahead right there. Come to this side. I'm sorry, I might be off frame, but I need to line this up in order to punch it out. There we go. And we'll go ahead and get rid of this off of our project. Now then, now I'm going to ink this. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this. And I want this to be visually interesting against this envelope that we just laid down there. So then I'm going to go right about there. And you know what? I forgot to ink this around the edges. So you guys may want to go back and do that if it's important to you. You might want to ink that before you lay it down. I'm just not that much of a perfectionist. Now here we go with this. Same thing here. I want that to be visually interesting with where that goes there. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay down a piece of score tape on this top edge. Cut that off. Lay this down. We are going to do a whole bunch more decorating, but it's really starting to look cute now. I think it is. I hope you like it too. Alright, now I'm going to take these little hinges that we made. I'm going to fold them over. That one's a little bit off, but it really doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is, I want this to be able to open up this way when we put that on there. So I'm going to put a piece of score tape on the edge of this. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down where I want it to open. I'm going to give it a little bit of leeway. About there, looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Go ahead and put a piece of score tape on the edge of this card, and I'm being really careful to make sure that the orientation on these is correct. There. this opens, and I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side with this.